Hi, good morning, everyone, or afternoon, or early afternoon. It's so good seeing you here. We had a very, very good session with Ted this morning, and we're going to talk a bit or discuss a bit your duties and functions as a club treasurer. I don't think you're back yet from your coffee break, hopefully. So what I want to do is do some introductions, and I want to start off by introducing our district governor nominee, Ted Fagel, who I think is away from his desk. His face is just there. But then we have Laura Stilquist from Rotary Club of East Honolulu.
Hi, it's
Laura.
Jim. I'm online right now.
And we have Beth and Jim talking. So that's great. Hi, Beth and Jim. We have Naomi Matsuno,
yeah.
District Governor from the Rotary Club of West Honolulu. So I'm happy to have this opportunity to talk with you or discuss with you your role, your potential role as secretary, as treasurer for your upcoming Rotary year. So we're going to go around a bit, and I want you to introduce yourself, your club, and the position that you have this year with your club, and the position you're going to have in 23-24. So Cheryl, since you've got your memo, so we'll start with you.
Hi, no mimosa here, just my coffee. Hi, everyone. I'm Cheryl Holcroft from the Rotary Club of East Honolulu, and I'm going to be the president, but I'm here listening in to learn more about treasurer duties.
And Cheryl, I know you've been a Rotarian for a while. Have you had the opportunity before to be club treasurer?
Oh gosh, it's all a blur. I think that I was treasurer for a year. I know I was secretary for a couple of years, but the biggest challenge in returning to Rotary after an 8-year absence is that so much has changed.
Yes.
And so for me, it's kind of figuring out how things are different now. And so that's kind of where my goal is.
Things do change, and it's good that you attend these sessions because the changes come out with Rotary International or the Rotary Foundation, and we're able to bring that to you through these training sessions. So Laura, you're with the Rotary Club of East Honolulu.
I am with the Rotary Club of East Honolulu, and I am currently this year the community service co-chair. And then next year I am going to be secretary, club administration. And I think Cheryl and I both have the same idea. We have a brand new member who is also our brand new treasurer. And she's, since she is working diligently on people's taxes today, we wanted to listen in so that we could help her out any way that we can. But as Cheryl said, it's been a while since we've done any of this kind of stuff. So I thought it was time for a refresher course as well.
You're absolutely great. And to have a treasurer coming in that's doing taxes now means that she does have some financial background. So that's really, really good to have. So thank you for sharing. Natasha.
Hi.
Kapolei.
I'm with the Rotary Club of Kapolei, and I'm secretary and foundation chair, but I want to know more about the treasurer position for our club.
Good. Thank you for being there, Natasha. And I know you've been around for a while, so you've been exposed to the functions. So we're happy to have you. Who else do we have? Brian, Rotary Club of Kona.
Yeah, Rotary Club of Kona, president-elect. But as always, the money part of our club and any club is essential. So that's why I'm here.
Have you been treasurer before?
No. Treasurer and secretary are the two hardest jobs, so I've avoided them as much as possible.
Okay, thanks for being with us. And I'm sure you're going to pick up some information that you can use that can impart to your members. And we have Jerry from Honolulu Sunrise.
Honolulu Sunrise, I'm president-elect. I've been treasurer in other organizations, but my exposure in Rotary is that it's a different animal there. And so the challenge is the last treasurer did not have a very good transition. And so it's my intent to ensure that we have a better transition this time around. I feel that the best I can do to help that is to have some education so that I can help facilitate that.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you for being here. And we'll see what we can do to help that. President-elect Ann Lahaina Sunrise. Hi.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Yes, so I'm president-elect, currently executive secretary. I've never been treasurer, but I thought that all three are somehow related and I want to be on top of it. And I know that this year was a little challenging for us. So I just want to make sure that we are compliant with everything. And that's why I'm sitting in here.
Well, you said the magic word to be compliant with everything, and you're going to find that your secretary, your treasurer is most important in making sure that you are compliant and on top of everything financially that goes on with your club. So thank you. Leah. Lahaina Sunrise.
Well, to be completely honest, I was following the track that I thought was discussing vocational. So that's how I ended up here this morning. I thought we were discussing vocational. I think maybe I'm on the wrong track, but it's always good to hear about treasury stuff.
It is good. Thank you for being here, for sharing that. Vocational is, I don't know, I don't remember what track that is. Naomi, do you have that?
It's the
It's
first
track
so-
one.
Okay.
track
All
one,
right.
yeah.
I followed the link off the email. So
Okay. Well,
that's
we're
why I'm
happy to have you.
here.
We're happy to have you. We keep you and we share everything we know about treasure with you.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thanks.
Beth, Jim. Honolulu Sunset.
Jim Hoban. I'm treasurer for the Honolulu Sunset Rotary, and I've been treasurer for going on my third year now.
Great, great. And Beth?
Well, Beth,
Well, I'm club administration for next year and community service this year.
Okay, between the two of you, I know you guys are gonna do a dynamite job with Sunset.
Yep.
Kelly, are you there? Kahala Sunrise.
Can you hear me?
Hi, Kelly. Yes, we can.
Oh, good. My audio works now. Hi. I just thought I'd come in and learn a little bit about this area since there's a lot to learn. Sorry, I'm gonna have to leave a little early, but I wanted to learn what I could.
That's okay. We're happy to have you. Thank you for coming. Nicole, are you there?
Hi,
Hi.
I'm the president this year, or for the past 2 years, and next year I'm actually just gonna be past president. But I'm here to learn about treasurer because we've never had to file our taxes yet, so we really need to figure that out.
You are your club.
Oh, our club, yeah,
Oh,
sorry.
well, that's good. But thanks for being here. Well, it's great to have all of you here, and hopefully you're going to get something out of this. We've got Naomi here, who is always going to be our buffer. I think she's been treasurer many times and comes from a banking background, right, Naomi? So she's going to keep us on the right track. I would venture to say that as far as treasurer concerns, I like to spend the money. But now we're going to find out the right way to spend the money and how to account for it. Okay, so I'm going to shut my screen. Oh, look at you guys. You guys are so cute. I'm going to share my screen and show you a little PowerPoint. Are we good? Okay. You know, this Rotary theme is next year is going to be create hope in the world. And we can create hope in the world when we can do things for countries or help anyone we can. And we can do that by being better, what do you call it? We can better administrators of funds and understanding how the funds are administered to everyone, where they come from and how to account for them. So what do you do as treasurer? You're going to manage funds. As club treasurer, you play an important role in your club's ability to carry out service projects, fundraisers, and support the Rotary Foundation. You manage the club funds, you collect and submit dues and fees, report on the state of your club finances to your club. You work with the Rotary Foundation, of course, and you pay view your club invoices regularly to make sure that everything is in line and on time. So how do you prepare for this? And one of the best ways to do it is what you're doing now. Attend a session, and you can take online courses, or you can go to the Rotary Training Center, which have very good courses. I work with the outgoing treasurers, which is one thing that you really should do when you're taking on this position. Talk to the treasurer going out and see where you are financially, challenges that they face during that time, or challenges that might be coming up that you should be on top of. And of course, district training assemblies, always good. It's always great to be here to get the information that you can. But before you take office, you need to do a few things like meet with the current treasurer to find out what's going on, receive access to the club accounts. It's most important that you do that to find out if it's a password protected account, if it's on Google Docs, but you need to have access to those accounts. And make sure you're in My Rotary. All of you should have registered so far with My Rotary. If not, that's one of the things that's a must that you do. And I think we're going to have a session either today or tomorrow, if you haven't done it yet, on how to register and be a part of My Rotary. Attend the district training and the district conferences, learn how funds are allocated, and consult with the district treasurers. Okay, during the fiscal year, you should maintain club financial records. The historical records that tells you where the club is, where the club has been, and where the club is hopefully going. You're going to work with your club secretary to send invoices to all club members for their dues and for their fees, and then collect the dues and fee payments and use both those to meet the club's financial obligations. Manage the club's funds, including paying bills like insurance, Rotary International expenses, such as member dues, district dues, and subscription fees. Distribute grant and scholarship funds. Work with the Rotary Foundation to manage grant funding and submit contributions on behalf of club members. Give monthly reports to the club board, and file your club taxes if local national laws require you or your club to do so. So it's quite a bit of things that you should do during this year. But one of the most important aspects of this is working with your club president and your club secretary. The treasurer and secretary work with the president to ensure that the board reviews the club finances and that invoices are paid on time. You and the secretary can decide together how you'll approach each task to help your club run efficiently. The responsibilities you share include collecting dues and recording them as paid, and if not paid, finding a way to talk with them or to find out why they are not taken care of. Reviewing the club's invoice and paying it on time, discussing next year's goal and determining what it would cost to accomplish them, making arrangements to collect any unpaid dues and fees, paying for meals, submitting Rotary Foundation contributions on behalf of your club. If you have any questions as we go along, please do not hesitate to ask. So when working with the club president, you'll be setting guidelines for such things as how long to save records. If the club hasn't set these standards and documenting them, then that's something that you want to put into place to make sure your financials are always in order. Confirming or reporting the club email address in My Rotary to make sure that you receive the club invoices. The club invoices will go to the club secretary and president and treasurer over email. So it's most important that you have the correct email address noted. Ensuring that the budget reflects the needs of all members. You also work together to prepare the report that includes the income and expenses for the previous year and the first half of this Rotary year. It is presented to the club, and it should be presented to the club by the 31st of December. So near the end of your term, and we're there already, near the end of your term, there are a couple of things you need to do. Your club needs to track its incoming and outgoing funds, as well as follow the budget it created in the previous year. The club's responsibilities also include promoting and ensuring transparent financial practices that benefit members of varying needs and abilities. The club should have a finance committee to provide oversight and foster community continuity if possible. Any questions so far? Any discussion on any of these? Are you doing that in your club? Are you making sure that your club is on target with their bills, with their invoicing, with the financial picture of your club? Okay, I'm trying to, okay. As I said, you need to track your incoming and outgoing funds, as well as follow the budget it's created. We've covered that already. So let me go to the next. You need to adhere to financial standards by updating the board each month about the club finances. A lot of clubs do not make a presentation to the club, but the club should know where they stand financially. If you're in the red with anything, if you have additional funds that you can donate or designate to other projects, this needs to be taken to the club so that they can see where you are. Sharing the results of fundraiser efforts and the overall budget each month. Actually, this is in the Council on Legislation that this has to be done and presented to the club on a monthly basis so that they can see the strength or the weaknesses of their club. Giving other updates as needed at board meetings and club meetings, and saving all records. Most important that records are saved and are accessible by members of your finance committee. And a mid-year report should be presented to the club before 31 December. Also, a detailed annual report should be written and made available to the club. And if required by your local and national law, hiring a qualified consultant to review club finance activities every year is a must. If your treasurer has a finance background, a financial background, or a tax background, they usually do a really, really good job of taking care of the finances and making sure that everything's in order and you're on top of it. If your club has a satellite club, you need to submit an audited or reviewed financial statement. Dividing the income and expenses into club operations and charitable funding is a must that should be done. You cannot commingle the two together. Income should be under one category and expenses under another. And establishing a reserve fund if your club doesn't have one is important as well. So let's talk about this for a second. I'm gonna unshare my screen. Would you say your clubs right now, they're doing these things? Are you getting on a regular basis a report on where the health of your club through the finances? We have Dick Moscow, and I know, Dick, you've been a treasurer before in your club. So are you presenting this information, or this information being presented to your club on a monthly basis?
No, on a quarterly basis.
On a quarterly basis. So this is,
Yeah, the most times, most clubs for most months just, pay their electrical bills and so forth, once in a while a project thing, so. Can get cumbersome and disruptive to a regular meeting, so. Once every quarter for our size is adequate. And every
Okay.
6 months, full report.
And as long as that information is there and it's available, if someone has a question or have a concern, then they can always come and get that information as well. How about you, Jerry? Are you being given a report every month?
Yes, we
you-
get monthly reports.
Okay,
And we also get a foundation, our club foundation report as well.
okay, you have a club foundation? Okay, and those are separate entities,
They're
correct?
separate, separate boards.
Okay, thank you. Cheryl, what about your club, East Honolulu? You're getting monthly reports to your membership?
We've been going through a lot of transition in our leadership team, so as the incoming president, I've been working really hard with my club administrator for next year, Laura, to try to get and to help our treasurer to get back on track with some of these things. But we're very aware of what needs to happen from the past, and we're working hard. COVID, I think, was hard for a lot of people because everything was disrupted. So we're getting there.
Yes, COVID did a lot of damages in some respects, but it did a lot of good because I think it brought us closer together and it showed us that we can survive if we're not in that environment, but we're getting back to where we were. So we need to get back to putting the finances out there and letting everybody know where we are. We give funds to the foundation, we give funds to our individual foundations, we give funds to the club when we have happy dollars. So it's really, really good and really, really important that the club knows where that money is going and what it's doing with the community. Kelly? What about in your club, Kahala Sunrise? Are you getting reports from your board?
Yes. Marshall
Okay.
on top of it.
And if you're not, just ask. Because just say, hey, can we get out the finances of the financial report? Can you make a presentation of that? Or can it just be given to the club monthly or quarterly or whatever is most convenient to them? So it's available. We just need to take a look at it. Brian.
One thing our club does is every month the treasurer provides a P&L statement, a balance statement, and all the bank records. And she sends them out a week before the meeting. And anybody, some people just roll their eyes at that stuff. Some people just love it and dig into it. But sends it out a week before the monthly board meeting. And then if we have questions, then the board meeting is a time to address them. But she doesn't read through them to us at the board meeting, which we find pretty useful, but we do have a lot of members that dig into them and love them and come up with some good questions. And with, the balance statement, the P&L and the bank statements, where there's a lot of accountability and transparency there, which I think a lot of people in our club really like.
And I think that's good that they do that because it does give the picture of the health of your club. So I think it's great that they jump in and they look at it and they question, or they don't question, or they make comments about it. So thanks. Dick?
Yeah, one comment, reports everyone is fine. But, the main concern in a lot of clubs is fraud. What we do in our club, 2 people look at the bank statements every month. 2 eyes on it to see if everything's, so normally as a president, they get the report from the banks. And look at it, then pass it to the treasurer. Your main concern is fraud, people taking money out, and you don't see it because any treasurer can create a false report. So that's just my comment on that.
And that's one of the reasons why it's important that the club and the board work together in getting that information out to avoid any problems there may be, or any incidents of fraud that may be going on within your club or within the district or within Rotary International for that matter. So it's most important that we continue that. So thanks, Dick, for sharing that. Okay. Go back here.
Hey, Ross,
Yes.
sorry, you know your slide on if you have a satellite club, you have to have audited or reviewed statement. Are
Yes.
you saying that's a CPA audited or reviewed statement? Because I don't remember seeing that.
I got that from some of the phone calls I've made about it. Yes, it should be an audited or reviewed financial statements if you have a satellite club. I'm not sure how new that is. I tried to look it up in the council, in the last bit of information from the Council of Legislation, but didn't see anything about it then. Satellite clubs are relatively new and not new, but relatively new. And this is something that was noted. I figured I should pass it on to you.
Maybe we can check on that because to get a CPA reviewed or audited statement is very costly.
Okay, I'll check on it and get back to you.
But you are saying that the satellite club needs to have a completely separate set of books?
I don't
then?
think it's a separate set of books. If you have a satellite club, they should have their financials, should be an audited financials.
Yeah,
statement
forget the
presented.
audited part. I'm saying, okay, so the satellite club should have a separate set of books.
That's
that
what
can't be incorporated within the main club QuickBooks as a separate section or.
I am told it cannot be. It has to be separate. However, I will check it out and get back to you. Let me write this down. Hold on 1 second. Okay, also adhering to financial standards as treasurer, you may also be responsible for filing taxes for your club. We all know that, we all do that. Resources like contributions and recognition reports available in My Rotary and your club achievements in Rotary Club Central can help verify your donations, your member donations. So that's available through, and this is why it's very important to have a My Rotary account.
And I'm sorry, I'm going to ask one more. You may be
Sure.
covering it later, but I particularly am interested in the timing and the dates for the different tax filings so that we can help our new person to make sure that it gets done and we can check and see if it was done last year because we lost our treasurer mid-year.
Okay, I think I have it. We get to it. If not, we'll check
Okay,
it out.
no, if you're going to get to it later, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay. So at the start of the year, the secretary should give the club financial report of the previous year. Make sure that financial status of the club that's documented in the minutes from the previous board meeting is accurate and reflects the club's budget. Okay. Developing your budget, review the club financial history and its likely income and expenses, discuss what to include in the budget and update the signature requirements. And we all know this on all bank accounts for when the officer positions change. This requires 2 signatures for any withdrawal. Okay,
Question on that one.
yes.
2 signatures for any withdrawal. That's not our policy. We have a dollar amount. It's, like if you have all checks, that's not a requirement.
I think that over a certain amount, that
Yeah.
you should have 2 signatures, but it also should be an approval process that you have.
Oh,
Before
yeah.
the check is written, it's cut.
Agree with that, but as far as the signatures on the check itself, usually there's a cutoff that under that amount, you only need 1 signature. And again, I think that varies by club, but I'm not
Yes.
positive.
Yes, I know in our club it's 2 signatures and it does vary from club to club. But it should also have an approval. You should have a voucher that's presented and that voucher is approved before the check is even, it is even cut by the treasurer, and the treasurer approves it.
So we've
So it could
always
be
in the
1
past-
signature too.
Yeah, we've always in the past had the fact you had to have 2 signatures on the requisition
Voucher.
form
The
and
voucher.
on the voucher form, right? And as long as you had 2 signatures on that, then we allowed 1 signature on the check. and we don't write big checks.
And it might be a club preference because with our club, we have 2 on the voucher and we have 2 on the check. So I don't think that's a standard that it has to be 2 are required. It says required 2, but it could, as you said, most of you guys, a lot of you are having the 1 signature, but the 2 validation on the voucher form. And sometimes contributions to the Rotary Foundations are made through the club. So club officers process contributions to the Rotary Foundations that aren't through My Rotary, and they maintain records of them. As treasurer, you will likely submit donations to the Rotary Foundation in that event. I know for our club, if we do Happy Dollars and we designate that those Happy Dollars are going to go to the Rotary Foundation, then the treasurer will at that point make the submit the donation to the Rotary Foundation. And grants. You will also help your club as treasurer apply for and monitor grants, work with your Rotary Foundation committee to manage Rotary grant funds, and follow the foundation's reporting requirements. Now, before the conversation, Naomi gave me some information about the grants and the treasurer. Naomi, could you share that with us?
Oh, sure. For grants, when we do the training, there are specific things that the somebody needs to do. Most cases, it is the treasurer, but sometimes it is someone who is managing the grant funds. But grant funds, according to the financial management plan, you're going to have 5 years of documents to keep in your records. You need to use the voucher for distribution for grant funds. Everything needs to come from your grant account. And it's a club grant account, not your foundation grant account. So the cadence is you apply for the grant June 15th. So next year, June 15th is where you're going to apply for the grant. You get the money, but we need to see a grant statement. So the grant statement needs to have your club cash in it, and then we'll deposit the money to your grant account in about August. But that's if everybody sends in their reports on time. So all of the disbursements come from the grant account. And then in May 31st or 2 months after your project, no later than May 31st, you're sending in your report, your final report with all of the receipts. Okay, so you need to use the voucher. That's a new thing that started for this year. Use the voucher form that we send out to your grants people to make this disbursements, and that is signed by 2 people. Okay, so we audit about 20% of the clubs. So if your club is selected to be audited, the auditor will ask you for documentation and review all of your records for you. So make sure you're changing your signature cards to reflect the accounts. Make sure that when they change the signatures, that the account title is Rotary Club of something, and the second line is grant account or TRF grant account or something with grant account in it. Is
Thanks,
that it,
Naomi.
Roz?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it. Thanks for sharing that. And I do have a slide that talks about what you should have if you're audited, your grant account is audited. So I do have a slide covering that. Where are we? Administrative responsibility is overseeing the management of club finances, ensuring the club invoice is paid, making sure that updates to your membership list is in My Rotary are made within 30 days, and ensure that members subscribe to the Rotary magazine. And I know that is an option that you can have, but that's a subscription that we pay for in our dues. It included as a part of our dues. It's part of our responsibilities. Following the reporting requirement for your district and Rotary, making changes to your club bylaws as necessary. And this is one of your administrative responsibilities that you would have. So managing your club funds is one of the duties. Control of club funds, collect dues and fees, keep board informed of finances, remit payments. May include Rotary Foundation and Hawaii Rotary Youth Foundation donations. It should include that as well. As part of your duties, you should maintain bank statements and reconciliations, grant finances, report taxes, federal, state, and general excise, and keep board informed of the finances and budget comparisons. Financial controls require more than one signature on checks or have a disbursement authorization form authorized by an officer for payment. So one signature and have the, as we said earlier, the disbursement validated. One of the things you should also do is review your bank statements before giving them to the treasurer. Reconcile bank statements monthly, update signature cards at the bank for new officers, close accounting records in a timely fashion, and submit tax forms in a timely fashion. Your budget should be approved before your 1 July meeting. The IRS 990 is due by 25 November. Form 9990 is an electronic postcard. Due 15 days, due 15th day of the 5th month after 30 June. 15th day of the 5th month after 30 June. And this, the copy of should be sent to the grants chair at grant@rotary.d5000.org for grant qualification purposes. And GET tax filing is also required by the State Department. So one of the items, one of the sections for budgeted items, you should have Rotary International dues budgeted. District dues, Hawaii Rotary Youth Foundation, district assemblies, pre-president-elect seminars, pets hospitality room, district workshops, Rotary Youth Leadership Awards, district conference budgets. These items should be discussed with your board and put in consideration for funding during the Rotary year. The Rotary International dues, I did have that. The dues, your club paid. Okay, Rotary International dues for the year 23 to 24 would be $37.50 semi-annually, or $75 annually. And the year after that is going to be $41 semi-annually, or $82 annually. And then, of course, you have the dollar per members for the cost of the council of, to defray the cost of the COL. And I think I got some updated costs this morning on the updated costs this month. The district assembly, just go back one slide. The district assembly is going to be virtual. Pre-pet seminar is also going to be virtual. President-elect's training is $1,500, average about $1,500 for that. Pets hospitality is $100. Various amounts for district workshops. And a district conference allocation should also be made. Any questions on that? Dick? Dick, did you have your hand up?
What's the District 20,000 dues for next year?
For next year, it is $70 for the year.
And we don't know what the
I'm sorry, 75. It's 37.50 semi-annually.
so 75.
But district
37.
dues are $60. District dues.
Oh, district dues. International is 37.50 semi-annually.
So we don't know what the RI insurance is gonna be per member yet, right? They're working on it
Yeah, but it's gonna be around $92 altogether
for
for Rotary International.
the insurance. It's not per member.
The insurance would be about $1.09.
$1.09
$1.09.
per
With
member
the, yeah, COL, the insurance, the,
and the
uh,
DNO.
you know, and the, magazine, it comes out to about $92, $93 a person.
Can I make a suggestion to the other clubs? Make sure your presidents have a contingency fund. The district is always coming and asking, especially various communities, for more money. And you look at your budget that's set for the year and it's stopped there, so make sure your presidents have a contingency fund to help take care of that.
Thanks, Dick. Thanks, Dick. Yes,
And then also our club runner invoice, that's an annual expected payment also. And I believe we just paid $413 for it. I don't know if that goes by club size or number of members but that's a hefty kind of line item that should be included too, I think.
and the $413, Naomi, where's that? It's a line item for Club Runner.
No, not everybody has Club Runner, so they just have
Ah.
to budget. So they're just Club Runner just sent out a notice too that they're increasing their pricing. But what I would suggest, if you can get all of the actual numbers for the past 3 to 5 years, put them side to side so you can see how much what you spent each year, then it's easier to budget on that.
Okay, thanks, Naomi. Any other questions?
Question?
Yes,
Yes.
Jim.
Yeah, you listed HRYF. What is, that's questionable. How much should you budget for HRYF? Because that has been questionable in the last couple of years as to what clubs are requested to put into HRYF and what is mandatory.
Okay, HRYF dues are $200 a year.
Per club, yes.
Per capita though comes from your club, your member pockets. And so that per capita amount of donations right now is $20 per capita by June 30 to get, so you need $20 per capita by June 30, 2023 in order to get the 5,000 for next year. But that comes from the donations from members.
But the clubs have been making a lump sum contribution, correct?
If they want to. If they want to, they can.
Clubs have,
Yeah.
but individual members is $20 per person.
Per capita.
Oh, per capita, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the clubs, if they want to budget, but actually that donation should come from the members.
You know, and if your clubs are not doing this, I think this is a great opportunity for scholarships for individuals, for our kids. Because if you make your per capita contribution to the to the HRYF, you know that the student that you suggest or you submit, that person will get the $5,000 scholarship. So support HRYF. It is one of the, I would say, no-brainers in contributing to the Rotary, contributing to HRYF. Scholarships are for our kids here. Okay. Any other
I have
questions?
another question.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
So all of the district dues, the RI I know comes through our semi-annual report, but does it go to the treasurer along with the secretary and along to the president?
The statement goes electronically through email to the president and the secretary and the treasurer.
And the district dues also?
the district dues, Naomi, I assume the district dues are going to the same process. I
Yes.
think that goes to the, I'm not sure if the treasurer get district dues. I know the secretary and the president does.
So the treasurer gets it also, and it's going to go out in June, and it's a template because we don't know how many members you got. So you just put in the number of members and then send it in. That is due by the end of July.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it'd be good to send out your club invoices in June, so you know that you can collect that money by July 1st, and you know they're continuing.
And you know you're paying on the numbers and no adjustments are allowed. So what you have to pay what's there, what's billed to you. Put the adjustments in as you're paying. Yes, Dick.
What's the Rotarian magazine cost next year?
Pardon me?
Rotarian magazine cost?
We're still doing $1 per member
Okay.
per year. So it's 12.
$12 a
Uh,
year, 12 year.
$12.
So
That
dollar-
hasn't, that has
dollar
not
per
gone up
month?
yet.
So what you say is $1 a month, but $12 a year per member,
$12 a year.
per member, okay.
Okay, and it's billable at $12 a year. So that has not gone up. I know in various, the council on legislations, they have discussed raising that higher. But so far it has not succeeded. It is still $1 per month or $12 per year. Okay. Any other questions? And you know that all club invoices are due and payable upon receipt. Dues are based on member count as of July 1st and January 1st. And this cannot be adjusted. Invoices are mailed to club officers in January and July. Are there any questions or any concerns or any discussion?
Ross, going back to what treasurer should budget, can
Mhm.
we add that if the club pledged for global grants this year and the grant hasn't been funded yet, you need to make sure you put that in your budget for next year, that you have the money for that global grant that you pledged.
And that's something that we should look at now to make sure that it is covered for next year. Okay,
And if you're going to be participating in a global grant next year, you should put your allocation for that new global grant in your budget as well, because it
Yep.
may get expended this year.
so as treasurer, these are things that you should look at and make sure that is covered and is put in your budget or is allocated for as you end this year and going to the next year. Okay,
Question?
yes, sir.
You were talking about global grants right now. I know, I mean, we've got 4 open global grants right now, so we have separate checking accounts for each one. Now, under the new system of global grants, and we're not going to be controlling the funds directly, do we need to have a separate checking account for that?
Well, I'm gonna defer that question to Laura since she's shaking her head up there. I'm not, this is global grants here. Laura.
Yeah, if you're not in charge of the funds, if you're not the ones that are dispersing the funds, and normally it's wherever the project is being done, they're the ones who have to have a separate account, okay? You just need to keep your grant, the allocation that you made for your global grant, you just need to keep that separate and make sure that it is in your budget so that it's not getting spent and it's not a surprise for the incoming board and presidents.
And that foresight, the people on the far side would be the one that initiated the grant, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Any other questions? Hi, Joanne. Nice to see you. Any other questions?
Yeah, I kind of got a question. Has to do with general excise tax.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course, they need to know when general excise tax are filed, because that's a state tax, and that's usually on a calendar basis. The other thing about that is people have understand what is taxable. Most of the clubs are not or are not a nonprofit. So you're going to pay general excise tax on all of your income, not including your dues. That's not taxable. However, money that you take into your club, fundraising, etc., is normally taxable. So maybe somebody can address that. Naomi, maybe you'd like to address that.
Okay, so you're right. It's the things that are not normal, like fundraising. Those are subject to GET.
Tax, yeah.
So actually the filing date should be the same as your fiscal. So everybody should have a fiscal date of June 30. So you cut off your federal ID information, June 30. GET actually should be June 30 as well. And I did confirm that with the state tax office. So they said in order to change, you just need to send a letter that you're changing your fiscal year if you're doing it on a calendar year basis. So
Jim-
if your club does not fundraise and you don't have any income as that is subject to general excise tax, the state tax department said you don't have to send in an annual report. But I think as a normal practice, you should send in a zero balance summary for the end of the year.
Jim, did that answer your question?
Yeah, I was bringing it up more for the people that are new people and a lot of misconceptions about what's taxable in Rotary clubs. So especially when you're doing fundraisers, silent auctions, etc., that kind of stuff. A lot of members don't have a clue that that is actually taxable. So that's why I brought it up.
Okay, thank you so very much.
So just so I can understand, and I saw Dick had his hand raised, so he can probably answer this, right? So if for the last 3 years, or 2 years, you haven't had any fundraising activities, we don't have to go back and file a zero balance GE tax report. We can just start with this next year.
Yep.
That's the way I read it. That's the way I saw it. Dick,
Yeah, you should file one every year, like she said, even though it's zero. They keep a track record. If you ever go into their system, it'll show you all past, it'll show for your club every year if you follow or not. And if you see a lot of zeros there, you can search. So we do one every year, whether we have to pay or not. Do it every 6 months and year in, and that's it. Enough. But leave a paper trail.
great idea. Thanks, Dick, for sharing that. I don't think we do that. Thank you. Any other questions? Well, I think, Joanne, you have the next track, right? So Joanne is here. Let's take a break so we can get ready for Joanne, and her track is on what? Club administration. Club administration. So take a break and stay with us with Joanne. Thank you, guys. Thanks for your participation. Appreciate it.